Fellow viewers, we continue. Now we are going to go to the next stage where we are looking at how to find the absolute error, for decimal numbers. How do we find the absolute error for decimal numbers? I've told you that how do we find the absolute error generally? We say absolute error, we are saying absolute error is found by, is equal to the tolerance over 2, where here 2 it is about the upper limit and the lower limit. Now this should be absolute, should be positive. Now what we'll be doing, this absolute error abbreviation I'll be writing like this even in an exam. So we are saying absolute error I'll be writing like this. How do we find absolute error for this number? 25.43. So it is 25.43. The first thing I'll look for tolerance. How do I find tolerance? You remember the whole part, it is placed by 0. Is this the last digit? No. This one is my last digit. So now this tolerance, how do I do it? I say, okay, this tolerance now I should divide it by 2 for me to get absolute error. So meaning that 2 into there it can't. So this number, because it has got 2 decimal places on top, I should multiply by 100. Why? I have to make it to be a whole number. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot divide a number like this. Make sure that they fall in the same category. This is a whole number too. This is not a whole number on top. So I'm making it. How do I multiply? I multiply 1, 2. So here on top I have 1. So the zeros goes. On down there I have 200. So I should now start dividing. I say 200 into 1, it can't. I put a point, I add a 0. 200 into 10, it can't. I put a 0, I add a 1. 200 into 100, it can't. I put a 0, I add a 0. 200 into 1000, it is 5. So ladies and gentlemen, because it is a absolute, this is my absolute error. So this is how we find the absolute error. I'm saying, how do we get the absolute error? If for example now they give me 41.253, number 1 is to find the tolerance. How do we find tolerance? The whole number part is replaced by 0. Is this my last digit? No. Is that my last digit? No. Is this my last digit? Yes, it is replaced by 1. So now my tolerance, ladies and gentlemen, in this case, it is 0.001. Remember the decimal over 2. So now tolerance over 2 is what we are calling absolute error. So now I want to make it to be a whole number. There are 3, 1, 2, 3. So I should multiply by 1000, which has got 3 zeros. So I should multiply by 1000. Even down there I should multiply by 1000. Remember, I should multiply by 1000. Whatever I do, how am I going to multiply? Look how the point is moving. 1, 2, 3. Therefore, meaning that the zeros will go. It means here I'll remain with a 1. Here down you just have to add the zeros. I'll have this a 2000. Then you start dividing. You say 2000 into 1, it can't. You put a point, you put a 0. 2000 into 20 into 10, it can't. I put a 0. 2000 into this 100, it can't. I put a 0. I add this. 2000 into 1000, it can't. All the it can't, you will replace them by zeros until it becomes a 10,000. 2000 into 10,000, ladies and gentlemen, this is 10,000. It goes there 5 times. So this is what we call absolute error. Of course, once more, I'm saying, how do we find absolute error? Number 1 is to find the tolerance. I've shown you how to find the tolerance. So you can see that tolerance for the decimal numbers, or absolute error for the decimal numbers, differs equally with the tolerance. It differs depending on the nature of the decimal number. Ladies and gentlemen, remember to subscribe. Support your channel. Please we are just remaining with less than a month before we start writing our final exams. So please try by all means to go through such questions. Thank you. So, but before I say maybe we end, let me take this one. How do I find the absolute error for this one? Forget about the units. Just have to say this, the whole part. Then this one. So my tolerance, it is 0.1 divided by 2. So this one, it is, I told you that I should multiply by 10 over again 2 times 10. So that the numerator part becomes a whole number. Even the denominator becomes a whole number. Then you divide. How do we divide, ladies and gentlemen? 20 into 1, it can't. So what am I going to write? I'll write a 0 and a point, and I'll add a 0. 20 into 10, again it can't. I write a 0. I add a 0. 20 into 100, it is 5. So this is my absolute error. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed. At the end of this lesson, I'm going to give you now the full question. We'll just pick a question which is either asking either absolute error or anything, because from here now, allow me, I'll talk about relative error. I'll talk about relative error with the decimal numbers before I go to percentage error, and that will be the end of this topic. Thank you so much. I love you. Please encourage one another. We have reached 300. We are still babies. We are still growing. But I am very proud that within the shortest period of time, at least we have reached that mark. I believe at the end of this month, let us advertise this channel. Tell them that you go to Mr. Saube. Very soon, I might change the name of the channel. We are going to come up with another name so that it can attract many people, because Saube, some people, it sounds as if I smoke too much. And then they say, this teacher, what is he saying, Saube, Saube? No. Please, let's encourage one another. So very soon you'll be informed the name of our channel. It will be sweet. But as it is, I appreciate for those all have subscribed, and encourage one another to subscribe. And please leave your comment. The homework I'm going to give you, leave the comment in the comment box. You should leave something there, because after you have answered that, I need also to have the feedback as a teacher. So thank you so much. From here now, we are going to move to the relative error. Thank you so much.